Hello. This informational video will show you how to individualize evidence. This is important because we want to be able to have our evidence individualized so we can mark our individual students along the construct progression at their current learning status, and also because we want to be able to archive students when they've left our classroom and gone to another school or another classroom, and they're no longer on our PowerSchool roster. We're unable to do this for security reasons because we don't want to lose any evidence that's in the system. So if a student is sharing evidence with another student in your classroom, in order to keep that evidence, unless it's individualized, it's difficult to archive students that are still in your class. So let me show you quickly how to do that. This is why you may see students still showing up on your roster, because they're sharing evidence with other students in your class. So here's how we can individualize evidence in order to go about that work. So what you do first is when you log onto the platform, and my logon screen looks slightly different than yours because I'm in the test platform. You just click on the Evidence tab, and you want to view your evidence. So I'm going to click on View Evidence. And I'm going to look for those that say, this student and more, right? And that'll show me that I have that piece of evidence is shared with more students, right? And I can also filter for these pieces of evidence. I can sort by date of evidence and date added. That's a handy way to sort. You can also filter evidence. Teachers have found this really helpful, this filter evidence feature in the platform. So I'm going to click on that and show you how that works. You can search by keywords. You can search by children, like if you're looking for a specific child that you know has shared evidence with other children. For example, I know that Sally is a child that shares evidence with others, and I want to individualize evidence for her. So I can search just for her. I can also search by construct. I'm going to unclick that. I can also search by construct by opening up that, and then it will allow me to click on and search for specific constructs as well. I like this keyword feature because then I can search for items that are in my note, for example. The evidence I'm looking for is this bottle of pop. The kids were singing the Bottle of Pop song. And so here are several pieces of evidence where the kids were singing the Bottle of Pop song. And so I see this one with James and one more student, and I want to individualize that piece of evidence. So I'm going to click on that. And I see that James and Lucy were singing and doing the motions for the Bottle of Pop song. And James was able to cross midline throughout the song, and Lucy was able to cross midline for some parts of the activity. So I want to individualize that. They're at different places on the construct progression. This will allow me to do that. So here along the left-hand side, I can edit that evidence, delete it, and here's the button for individualize. And so I just click that individualize button, and it asks me if I'm sure I wish to do that, and I just click yes. And so now I have those two pieces of evidence are individualized, and so I can click on Lucy, and I see that piece of evidence, and it's just for Lucy now with the note. And I can see here where it says Lucy was able to cross midline for some parts of the activity. So I want to mark where she is along the construct progression. So I can edit that piece of evidence, and I can assign the construct to it. That's health and physical, crossing midline. I'm going to click that. I'm going to save and continue. And now I have the construct progression up here. I'm going to take a look at that construct progression. There are only 3 steps with the emerging and beyond. And I see here that she is at step B, where she's beginning to cross the midline in some situations. She was able to do it for some of that Bottle of Pop song, so then I can save and close. And then I also want to do this for James's evidence. So I want to go back to, so then I see there's Lucy's piece of evidence, and then there's her rating. I'm going to go back to View Evidence. And I can do the same thing for James. I can go to Edit His Evidence. There's the Edit Evidence button. And then I can assign that construct. I see my note is still there, right? I can assign the construct, which was health and physical, crossing midline. I can also see the evidence summary over here on the right. I know that James was able to cross midline throughout the song, so that puts him at consistently crosses midline. I can mark that there and save and close. So for that one note that I made for those two students, I can individualize it and place them where they are in their current learning status. And then what that also allows us to do is individualize that evidence, pull those pieces of evidence apart for individual students so that if Lucy leaves our class, her evidence is separate from James's, and then we're able to archive Lucy successfully when she leaves our class. I hope you have found this helpful.